especially when thinking about a global reach and a global approach to inclusive marketing is something that we see as a tremendous opportunity, especially within the US Hispanic market. And we're seeing a 20% increase year over year in video time spent on the platform. Now, we'll touch into that in terms of the creative best practices that I speak into. But yesterday, I was in New York for our first ever sports marketing summit. And we had this slide up, and we talked about how we consider Meta to be the biggest arena in the world when it comes to sports marketing. I think that's all relevant. I think because of the amount of folks that we have on our platform and the reach that we have that's at the disposal for you and your brands, we can not only be the world's biggest arena, we can be the world's biggest store, the world's biggest theater, whatever it is that you think is relevant for your brand. We offer unmatched reach. And with the tools that we're going to talk through today, I think we can really help take your brands to the next level during these moments that matter. What we also talked about was the element of culture. And culture isn't just one thing in particular. It means a lot of things for different people, for different groups, and I think that also speaks to the power that we have here at Meta, where we have these billions upon billions of people, all which come to our platform to achieve different things in a different way. Culture isn't something that's just created or ideated in a boardroom. It truly happens when like-minded people connect, build strategy, and take that strategy into implementation to make sure they're reaching their consumers in a meaningful way. And that's one of the things that we're hoping to help you guys accomplish. Culture also isn't something that you plan. A lot of it is reactionary, especially in the world of social media, where people are sharing things at a rapid pace and are mostly reactionary to things that are happening in their daily lives. So we truly believe that no one truly owns culture, but it's about making sure that you're equipped with the tools to make sure that you can be reactionary to culture as it's happening in real time. As I mentioned, part of what we do here within our Inclusive Marketing Task Force is we make sure that we are in alignment with the best practices, that when any time there's a brand that comes to us and wants to engage in culture, we can make sure that we're educating them to the best of our ability. With that, we advise them to do three things. We originate from culture. These campaigns are originating from culture with the language and the grammar of the platform. They're showing up in an authentic way, in the way in which these consumers are speaking and engaging with each other, and that allows for these brands to show up in an authentic way as well. They're collaborating with culture. They're not just thinking they're in control of it and think that because it's a big brand, you can just place your name in a moment independently. You're collaborating with the creators that are also in the heat of the moment, because at the end of the day, what we continue to find is our audience on our platform may be more likely to engage with the brand because they've gotten a cosign from a creator that they trust, instead of just seeing a brand show up in a moment and tell you that you're supposed to care about something at any given time. And lastly, we encourage people, because of that, to create at the speed of culture. Be nimble, be reactionary to what's going on, and making sure that you're showing up in an authentic way, building with creative diversity. You're showing up in a way in which you are not just rinsing and repeating every single strategy that you have for any different moment that comes to time, but you're making sure that you're showing up in a relevant way as well. Some of the tools that we think are paramount to making sure some of these goals are accomplished on our platform are really paramount in how we build these plans for our clients. I'll talk you through our Creator Marketplace tool, which is a brand new tool that we've released recently in 2025, and I think is something that's going to take relationships between brands and creators to the next level. We're utilizing a lot of the AI that powers our platform to make sure that we're bringing you guys sound approaches to making sure that you guys are understanding what we're seeing on the back end, the trends that are powering your feeds, the trends that are powering your For You pages, and things of that nature, to make sure that you and your brands are continuing to show up authentically. Reels. Earlier I mentioned that year over year we're seeing a 20% increase in time spent on video. Reels is driving that connection with how folks are leaning in on our platform. And that's something that, as we continue to provide that creative guidance, we're leaning in on making sure that brands are leveraging our Reels placement as well. Partnership ads. I I mentioned the importance of collaborating with culture and collaborating with the creators that are at the forefront of culture. That is the best way, full stop, that we're seeing brands really lean into these cultural moments and gain the trust and affinity of the users that they're trying to reach. Now, when we look at these trends, a lot of it is in response to consumer behavior that we're seeing on our platform. And I think one of the things that we really want to make sure that folks are leveraging here is the understanding of why these businesses are leveraging these trends on our platform, right? It's important to understand these here, as you see, you're cutting through that clutter, you're staying culturally relevant, and ultimately, these are two of the key ingredients that result in you crafting a successful campaign that will resonate with these audiences that matter so much to you. When thinking about how we leverage those trends, they are varied. You have your established culture. These are trends that are tried and true, and the things that we know matter to our consumers, and quite honestly, will likely never change. There are growing trends, where you're seeing things like creators giving responses or feedback to up-and-coming products, things of that nature, to give their overall take on how they've enjoyed the product. You have newsy trends. One of the things that comes to mind is we've seen a ton of creators that are leaning in on our platform and giving their responses to experiences that they've just experienced, such as the Bad Bunny concert. You're seeing these creators come on, giving their experience, explaining how being there for that show truly changed their lives. And that's something that we realize ultimately leads into the power of our platform and the ways in which creators are leveraging it. And lastly, microtrends. I've heard a couple of people say that, it's summit or it's conference season, and there's a niche market for that. There are folks that are leaning in and understanding, like, hey, I've got this summit this week, I've got this summit next week, and there are a ton of people that are like you that are getting on our platform and sharing their experiences there as well. We talked about the creator marketplace, and I want to double click into that because I do think it's a powerful tool that brands need to leverage, especially when thinking about keeping up with the pace of our platform and partnering with the creators that matter. Excuse me. Now, our creator marketplace is a tool that we see, which, as you see on this chart, it's a way for brands to tap into the trends that are live on our platform. You're seeing how rapidly they're being posted. You can look back from a 7-day, from a 30-day window to see, are these trends that are just coming and going, or are there ones that are consistently rising? And then double click into those trends and say, okay, which of these creators are really leveraging these trends? Which of these creators are leading the forefront in terms of releasing this content? And how can I partner with them? And with that, we offer the ability on both the advertiser or brand side and the creator side to initiate a relationship through this tool. Brands, after they've done their due diligence, can identify a creator that they want to work with and express that interest in the platform, and creators are allowed to do the same thing. The way in which this tool is managed, as I mentioned previously, is we have AI on the back end that works in ways to understand that content, spot those trends in real time, and then also rank them just to make sure that as brands and as creators are looking through the market to understand how they continue to break through new audiences or establish new relationships with people that matter the most to them, they know that these are backed by real, authentic numbers. This isn't just a rumor mill, these are true, authentic numbers that are backed by our AI on our platform to truly show you what's popping on the platform and what isn't. Through these trends insights, you're able to establish, what types of content within these different trends makes the most sense for my brand to lean into. You're getting inspired by these pieces of creative, that creators are continuing to lean into, and it gives you the opportunity as a brand to lean in and say, hey, I've found the trend, I found the creator, and I found the different ways in which other advertisers are utilizing these tools. Let's set something up and figure out the best way for us to show up authentically. Now, I mentioned the value of leaning in with these creators. And this is totally personalized based on the interest that You were able to go in and search by topic, by demographic, by followership, things of that nature to make sure that you're no longer just doom scrolling to try and find that next partner to align with. We're allowing both, like I mentioned, both brands and creators the ability to lean in with data-backed results to make sure that they're making the right choice for their next campaign. And then once you've brought these campaigns to life, the statistics speak for themselves. What we're seeing when brands are partnering with creators, we're seeing a 70% higher intent brand lift, which is monumental when thinking about these types of business results that we want to accomplish when partnering with creators. And we're seeing a 19% reduction in acquisition costs. So as I mentioned, these are all backed by data to make sure that we're leaning in and leveraging these tools to the best of our ability. Another way for brands to leverage these creators is by way of partnership ads. Partnership ads is one of the things that we also believe to be paramount in terms of partnering with creators to make sure that your message is getting out there authentically. It allows both brands and creators to leverage the following of each handle, where as you guys are seeing, you'll see a post and it'll be co-authored by a brand and a creator. On the back end, each of the participating authors is able to benefit from the other's audience. You're getting those shared insights, and it ultimately strengthens the relationship with the two participating authors and the brands, and the consumers on the receiving end. When you're searching through these trends, we do believe, as I mentioned, I talked about it earlier, about the increase that we're seeing in video. Reels by way of partnership ads is something that, full stop, is one of the most important ways for brands to continue to leverage our suite of products. It's trendy, it's the way in which consumers are leveraging our platform, and ultimately it's one of the best ways for you as a brand to lean in and get those authentic messages out in ways in which these consumers really want to find them on our platform. So that we'll talk through, just like here's just a bit of a roadmap as to how we see you can leverage these tools and put out really genuine and authentic campaigns. You find that trend, you find that creator, you build that inspiring content by way of Reels, and you leverage those partnership ads, and that is the key recipe to making sure that these messages are getting out the right way. Move on to creative, because it isn't just about a brand and a creator partnering and getting that message out. What's the creative content that's going to exist there as well? And creative diversification is the way in which we see brands really take advantage of the moment as they want to leverage. That way you're diversifying your message. It isn't just rinse and repeat of the assets that you've already had in the market, and you're just changing copy for the sake of the next moment. You're exploring these distinct and different visuals in a way to truly resonate with the time in which you're trying to connect with fans. And then it's also, as I mentioned, you're opting into additional placements. You're leveraging, as I mentioned, you're leveraging Reels, you're leveraging partnership ads, you're leveraging interactivity on our platform by way of polling stickers, there are countdown stickers, things of that nature, reminder ads to make sure that you are showing up in an authentic way and letting folks know like, hey, I'm just not here to show up. I'm here to make sure that you know that these are moments that I truly care about too. We all know that consumers want brands that they care about to be present in the moments that matter most to them. And leveraging creative diversification is a true way in which we believe brands can stand out from the pack. Up here, I want to show you a two-cell brand lift study that was run. Where on the left in cell 1, you'll see the campaign that ran just very similar creative. And on the right, cell 2, was a campaign that consisted of diverse creative. It included the top performing business as usual assets. There's a mix of high and low fi, but then we also had these diverse formats where we also leveraged partnership ads. And as you'll see by way of the results here, there was a 7% lower CPA and 7% higher purchases for cell 2 in comparison to cell 1. So I mentioned earlier, the proof is in the pudding. I know that I mentioned earlier, I or within our sales organization, this isn't about selling you on the way in which, or the concept of product and of execution. The results are truly there, and these are ones that we think all of you can take advantage of leveraging our platform. Another thing we want to make sure that we're harping on is diversifying with these different motivators that drive a user to purchase an item, or to identify with a brand, or to fall in love with a brand. When you look here, you see two different ads, for a jacket. One motivator could be that someone just wants a coat that's trendy and stylish and keeps them warm. While another person can say, hey, I want a high quality jacket because it's peak ski season and I want to make sure that I'm warm on the mountain. You as business people, as brand architects, want to make sure that when you're getting your brand out there, you're thinking about these different motivators that drive users to purchase, and making sure that those different things can be found and identified in the creative that you have in the market as well. When we think about all these things together, here are different moments when we're zeroing in on both the African American and US Hispanic cohorts, are moments that we think are important to be mindful of and take some of these practices into action. We have a product called the Moment Maker, which is essentially a 3-day audience saturation blast that essentially allows you to show up in a super authentic way, mass reach, mass user saturation in a way that truly makes your brand synonymous with these moments that we know fans and consumers alike want to see their favorite brand show up. When I think about one in particular, especially when thinking about year-over-year increases, I think about the World Cup. This will be, full stop, the largest World Cup that we've ever seen. We are estimating that there's going to be an estimated $62 billion that are going to be added to the global GDP as a result of this moment. And that's something that we truly believe is an opportunity for brands, especially ones that are trying to reach global audiences, to leverage our products and making sure they're doing so in a sound way, in an authentic way, to truly resonate with folks that are here because they're true soccer fans, or here because they want to make sure that they're leveraging it. We also believe that we're going to see overall soccer fandom increase by about 11% in 2026 because of the World Cup. So when thinking about different motivators and why we're trying to reach folks at these different moments, realize there are folks that you're here to reach that, they may not have previously identified as a soccer fan, but they want to make sure that they're here for the moment, and they want to feel welcomed by the different creative that they see when they're at these different events. So in closing, I want to make sure that I kind of recap what we walked through, the ways in which we think you can show up as creators, but also as representatives of your brands. For those that have Meta team, please leverage us and reach out and identify the goals that you have for not just 2026, but beyond. We have a team and a suite of resources that are at your disposal to make sure that we're leveraging all the data points that we have to make sure that you're showing up as positively as possible.